What's up, Uyghur Nation? Welcome to our second episode of Chit Chat
No,
and
restart
Chai.
it. Restart it.
What's up, Uyghur Nation? Welcome to our second episode of Chit Chat and Chai. I'm your co-host, Zlala Mehmet. Sorry. Okay, wait. What's up, Uyghur Nation? Welcome to our second episode of Chit Chat and Chai. I'm your co-host, Zlala Mehmet.
And I'm your co-host, Nurbeti Kelpin.
Today we are joined with very special guests all the way from California.
I'm Muzart.
And I'm alper.
Musa is actually a part of our UUI board, so he is one of our own. But yeah, before we get started today, in honor of our name, Chit Chat and Chai, even though we are filming today's episode virtually, I'd like to take the time to pour everybody a cup of chai.
Anyway, in the previous episode, as you guys have seen, we basically went over relationships and standards, but from a girl's perspective. So today we wanted to ask you guys what you guys think about relationships in the Uyghur community and the differences between standards and of girls and guys from your perspectives.
Yeah, Alper, want to start us off?
Yeah, so I think relationship standards for a guy, it definitely differentiates, right? So I think when it comes to guys, especially like for Uyghur youth, right? Like we're at where you have to be like the breadwinners for the family, right? I mean that's what most of our parents are. The dad has to make more money. So and the guy has kind of more pressure. I kind of feel,
Wait, let me say this. I don't think guys have more pressure on in the Uyghur community than girls. Like in the Uyghur community, not like in society.
No,
Like,
I think I
okay,
agree with you on
I
that.
agree with
I think in
Zalala
the
on
Uyghur
that.
community, I actually don't disagree with you on that, so
oh, okay.
yeah, I
I
actually
don't
Well,
don't.
know. I don't know.
Good.
I feel like times have changed as well, especially like the Uyghurs that live in like here, the United States. Because maybe back home it might be more common for the husband to be the one that goes out and makes all the money. But here it's different, especially in our generation, because we're all receiving the same education. And at the end of the day, when we're all in our 20s, we're also going to be working 9 to 5 jobs, the same as our husbands, whoever we get married to. So in the end, it's going to be 50-50. Both of the people are going to be providing for the family. And I also think that will tie into how women are treated differently in the household, because I know sometimes when the husband is the one that's going out and making the money, the wife is supposed to be expected to stay home, cook, clean, do everything, basically just be a housewife. But now I feel like it's going to be different, especially for our generation, since like we're also going to be working the same jobs. Obviously, we'll still have those expectations, but I feel like it'll be more balanced.
And
Yeah,
that's why I
but
think that girls have more pressure because now, like nowadays, there's this idea that like girls should also you should also find a job if you're a woman, right? Like you should find a 9 to 5 job. You should be making money, contributing to like the income of your family, but also there's still that expectation of like you're also taking care of everything inside the household. I feel like that's
yeah,
why the pressures are different.
brings
Well,
to like
Zlala,
right
I
now.
wanna add on when you say there's more pressure on girls. I don't know. I think something that I've noticed is that at least in the Uyghur community in California, there are way more girls than guys. In our
Oh,
California community, girls like way outnumber guys. So I feel like there's gonna be a more focus on the girls. You know what I mean? On whatever they do in the future, just because it outnumbers guys in our community.
I think like even when Uyghur girls are in relationships with Uyghur guys, like this even the standards are still different for each other. Like I think, for example, like for an Uyghur guy, if you're dating, like it doesn't matter if you like publicly display that you're dating somebody because like that's okay in the Uyghur community, but for a girl, you have to be very careful.
I also feel like in the Uyghur community, when there's a couple, the girl is just known as that guy's girlfriend. Like people will be discussing that individual and they'll be like, oh, manım kız dosti, or even married couples, oh, manım ayali. Like they never address the girl as an individual.
When I said that, I mean like it's hard for girls to like be with their like significant other in public um without people like saying something about it. Like for example, like girls are like it's hard for girls to interact with their significant other in public in front of the Uyghur community, whereas for guys, I think it's different.
And also to add on to that, kind of going back to what I said earlier about girls being addressed as like a guy's girlfriend in public, even let's say if a girl breaks up with someone and then she dates another guy or whatever, I feel like people talk down on her. They're like, OMG, like, why is she dating so many people? But then if a guy dates multiple girls, it doesn't matter. Like, no one talks about the guy the same way they would talk down on the girl.
Yeah, I know, I agree with that. Like if a guy dates a bunch of girls, no one's gonna be like, oh, this girl's like used like personnel or whatever. You know, like when a girl dates a bunch of guys, like I've seen it like with just like people, not I mean not really in the community because I haven't seen that many Uyghurs dating yet, but like just like with my English friends or whatever. Like one time in like what high school was it? Like this one girl was like dating this one guy and then started dating my friend. And then my friend was like, "Oh, why are you like dating this person's used goods?" And then to my friend when they were dating, which was kind of crazy because like he was in a relationship with her, and then my friend said this, so they did get into an argument. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like that's like
Damn.
It is common in the Uyghur
but
community
like
as
yeah,
well.
in the Uyghur community, I think it's like worse.
It is
But
definitely
then not
worse.
only do they like say it, they also like really think that and then like say a lot, you know, like
Also, if you're
all the
like,
time.
if you're a girl and then you date a guy and then you break up, like if it was like well known, it kind of like shuts off your other options. Like for example, like you're like Nuperi said, like you're kind of known as like this person's like previous girl. And so then when you're like in the market again, you know, you're single, ready to mingle. Like it shuts down your other options because this person, like all the other guys are like, oh well, she's like this person's girl or whatever, because that idea is like floating around. And like that's something that like my mom would warn me about. She would be like, you need to be careful, like in the Uyghur community um when you're like older and this and that, because like there's always the possibility of you shutting down your options when you're older, because if you get stuck with one guy and his name gets stuck to you, you're going to be the one who's impacted,
Okay,
which I think
I have
is
two questions to ask because of that statement. One, do you think that's because there's more girls than guys in the Uyghur community, which is why it's worse? And two, I forgot my second question, but we'll come back to it. Could
that's
you
because
answer
you're
the
stupid. Okay, I'll
Hmm?
answer your first question. That's because you're stupid. That's why you forgot.
Bro, you better cut that out, bro. I'm taking no slander.
I'm not going to cut it out.
No, you.
To answer the first question, what was your first question? I forgot.
That's because you're stupid. That's why you forgot. Right.
You think it's because there's
Okay.
more girls than
Because you
guys.
think there's okay, I remember. Um, I don't think it's because of the proportional difference. Because like my mom telling me that, like she came from Veten. Like there's
Uh,
not more
okay,
girls than
I
guys
remember my second one now.
in Veten.
But at the
And
same time,
Loki,
I think
okay,
it's
you know when
because I think
wait, okay, this is a pretty good thing to talk about. Hold up. You know when okay, you know when a guy's friend like has a bunch of his friends that are guys, and then when he breaks up with a girl, of course his friends are never gonna like message his ex, do anything to his ex, right?
Yeah.
But
I
in
don't
the
know
Uyghur
about that.
community,
I don't know about that.
all guys, no, low key, yeah.
No.
Nah,
Like a
bro.
real friend, a
Well,
real friend.
at least our friend group, we don't do that.
Yeah, like that's kind of weird.
I
Like
guess
In our friend
Virginia
group,
guys and Cali
we
guys be different.
wow.
like, normally if you have a friend who breaks up with a girl, they're not gonna no none of their friends are gonna be DMing that girl. Do you think that's
Yeah.
just like a moral thing? I mean, in California, apparently, I don't know. When you meet an older guy, you already know them a little bit. Like you're already like close with them. So do you think like it's also because of like, oh, that guy is a possible person that could be friends with me. I already have a connection to him, so I'm not gonna talk to this girl kind of thing? Or do you think it's purely like, oh, he dated this girl, I don't want her, like I don't want to be dating someone that has already been dating other people? Do you think like which one do you think it is most?
Like
Wait, but a guy, his friends can't hit me up, but he can hit my friends. Like that's what I don't understand. Because what you're saying right now is okay, like his friends shouldn't be flirting with you, but those same guys, at least in here, they go and they flirt with like their ex's friends, or like they'll go for any girl if they
I
want
mean,
to hit you up.
ex's
This definitely
friends,
sounds like a DC issue.
ex's
Yeah.
friends is no wait, low, no, ex's friends is not that bad.
Wait,
What?
what?
How come?
friend?
What?
Hold
Wait,
up,
wait, wait, wait,
hold
wait,
up.
wait, wait.
Ex's
Hold on.
friend. It's not the ex. It's the ex's
Ex's
friend.
friend.
Wait, I'm
So
confused.
right
That's
now you're
not the
saying
ex.
that his friends can't hit up his ex, right?
Yeah, his friends can't hit up
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ex.
his friends
Like
can't hit up his ex.
his
Yeah,
past girlfriend. Yeah, no.
we're right.
No, Perry, think about it. Like if you were dating some guy, right? And then y'all broke up, wouldn't it be weird if the guy's friend hit you up?
Like flirting?
Yes, and
Well,
you
yeah,
in
I think
particular,
it
not
depends
your
on the
friend, not your
I
friend,
think
you.
it depends on the situation.
Huh?
I don't think there's any situation, especially it
No,
depends.
it's weird on the guy. Like, why would you hit up your friend's ex? You know, like, okay, Zwala, you could back me on this, right?
And
No,
sex.
let's say you were dating somebody, you guys broke up, and you're pretty sad about it or whatever, and then their parents like, oh, I'm gonna hit him up now because he's free.
But that's why
Isn't
it
that kind of
depends on the
weird?
Isn't that
situation.
weird?
That's
That's
why-
why
For your significant other, they had feelings for your significant other while you guys were dating, and she
okay,
never
that's
told you.
different. That's why it depends on the
You're
situation.
over exaggerating the situation right now.
No, but okay, for guys at least, I guess it's not the same for girls. If like like that's just a thing. It's like an
I would
unwritten
have to
rule.
see when the time comes, depending on the situation.
Huh?
I think I
No,
get
but
where Muzart is coming from though.
guys normally don't stay friends when another guy does this to another guy.
Yeah,
It kind of ruins the relationship.
it
Because think
does
about it.
kind of low
Your ex is in this loop now again, but not with you, with your friend. Like it's weird.
Yeah,
But when we say it depends on the situation, I'm thinking like, what if like your friend cheated on that girl? Then that's why they broke up.
Okay,
And
you're still
like
not gonna be
in
friends with
that
that.
in
you're
that
still
way,
not
You're
gonna
still
do
not gonna be
that.
friends with that friend because think about it.
Yeah,
Okay, second off, that girl has to hang out with that friend now. Or like as a
they
guy.
don't have to.
No, yeah, okay, that friend either has to drop a friend or continue dating his girlfriend then.
Why are those the only two options? Why is
'Cause-
why
Because
is
if
the
that guy is
said
like really his
person
friend, if
why is the
okay, look,
person
if
in
that
this
guy's really
situation
his
so
friend,
butthurt?
because you can't hang out with that friend now because with that girl because that girl doesn't like that guy anymore, and you're still friends with him, and she's probably gonna say so many bad things about your friend, talk shit about him to you.
This sounds personal,
think
Muzart.
about No,
Okay,
it's not
now
personal. Just like
moving
think
on,
about it.
I want to add something to one of the topics we were talking about earlier and also transition a little bit. Have you been back home before, Musa and Alper?
Yeah,
yeah.
How were
I've
your
been.
experiences back home? Can you guys speak on that too?
Damn, it was fun.
Like what? Like as in like a regular experience? Like
Yeah, just anything.
But then it's just it's a lot nicer than I think than here. I think I love being in Vet then because you're so immersed in the culture, every single day, and you get to see like family every day. At least it's a struggle for me sometimes because I don't have a lot of friends that live in California besides like my uncle. And so like
Your uncle's your only
but
friend.
then it's like a taxi ride away, right? To see family members. As a kid growing up in Vet then, what's also really cool is that there was weddings every single week.
I
Really?
know.
That
They were
was the
so
cool-
much fun.
That was the cool thing. And let me tell you something, man. Vet then weddings are like a
Oh
hot
yeah, I've been to one. It was
in
crazy.
like American
It was
weddings,
so
Literally
fun.
American
everyone
Uyghur weddings. You know
dances
what I mean?
together.
Everyone danced.
No, Petty, you went to a California wedding like pretty recently. Like, what was the difference between like back in DC and
Well, I definitely feel like in terms of weddings, the California youth definitely get up to dance more. And it seems like you guys are more open-minded with that because here, a lot of youth don't really get up, let's say like at weddings or events to dance. And also, I feel like relating to back home, and I'm not sure how it is in Cali, like my parents would tell me like back home, literally like guys that meet girls on like the first day, they'll like all tangsa together, they'll dance together, like it doesn't matter, like you're just dancing together. But I feel like here guys are so scared, they're like, oh, like if I don't want to ask her to tangsa, like whatever, like they overthink it when it's just a dance. But I feel like back home it was like nothing, it was so normal, like all friends would go up, and I don't know, I just wish we had that here sometimes.
And for the Uyghur guys and girls who don't dance because they don't know how to, or they just like don't really like, I don't know why people don't dance. Just like go up and dance. It's fun.
Just move your
Yeah.
hands.
It's like
Wait, was
literally if you don't know how to Uyghur dance, I think there are tutorials on YouTube. And
Not the
just ask
tutorials
your
on
parents-
YouTube.
Ask your parents, like learn from watching, but like it's actually fun. Like I don't get why people just sit there and talk. Like,
Yeah, at least for guys, it's like easier to BS with dancing.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm
They don't get up
saying.
there. They don't get up
Low-key.
there.
So BS with dance.
nah, but I actually learned.
Good stuff. Like we have a friend in California. He grew up in Venton, and he's too shy to dance. And like it took us some time, but like once he sees like us
Not
doing,
him out of his shell.
once we started doing it, he started to get up, and he felt like included. So I think there's like an influence. You know what I mean? Like back home, if everyone does it, then you kind of have to do it, right? But like here, no one does it, and you're too shy to like, get up.
Yeah.
I feel like that can be attributed to like the lack of culture. Like we have that disconnect with Veten. Like not everyone has been back, not everyone has family here, and everyone can't talk to their family back there. So I feel like that's why it's like uncomfortable for some people to step up and dance when to us it seems like a really simple thing to do.
Yeah.
But like it's like for them it's not normal. And I guess like even sometimes for me it's like hard for me to like get up on the dance floor because there's not a lot of people up there, and also because I mean I haven't been to Veten as much as maybe you guys have. I've only been back once. And so I've never experienced like a wedding in Veten or things like that. So like for me to grow up in like the American culture, going to like Uyghur events, like for me it's like harder sometimes, I guess. But I did go back to Veten once, and during that one trip to Veten I actually met muzart.
Wait,
Oh,
Stella,
yeah,
where did
yeah,
you
yeah.
go?
And you, I think you brought a chocolate from US.
Yeah, I
And
bought a
me and Lil
Hershey's
was so
bar.
happy. Me and Lil were so happy because we weren't like getting used to the chocolate there or whatever.
The
But
chocolate
there
there
was this one chocolate that was so good, I forgot its name. But it was in like a gold wrap.
The
It was like so good.
Toblerone, or however you pronounce it.
No,
It's like
It was
wait,
not bad.
oh,
no, not those.
It was not
It's
The,
not
bad.
the,
Toblerone.
the chocolate in Veten is like kind of bad though.
bro, everything there is bad. Do you remember the milk?
Oh, the pizza.
Oh, in
Have you
the
had a
bags?
pizza?
Pizza, they would put freaking SL on pizza. Like, bro,
No,
you're not
bro.
supposed to
We went
eat
to
pizza.
Arambol, right?
Huh?
Like in Weten. And we ate pizza with literally sprinkled cheese, like not like cooked, sprinkled cheese and walnuts and bread.
Ew,
Not the
and they put
walnut.
That was the Uyghur
bro,
pizza.
it's so bad.
But you know what? Hey, let's not slander Veten food because that Veten street lagman or like
Oh, Weten food is so good.
The
bro.
samsa,
always
Oh,
the street
is.
samsa.
so
But the
fun.
thing is, I talked to my parents about this. The street food that you eat in Veten is so bad for you.
I feel like that's all street food.
But yeah,
I
but
don't
they
know, I feel
put
like
so
Veten is
much
just
might
worse.
in it. Like they over salt it. They put so much might in it to make sure you like it, right? It's like I don't. It's like totally not good for you, but it's
A good amount of mai is good for you. Like think about the Uyghur co-ops. It's like sometimes it's like a whole chunk of just like
I love co-op. It's so good.
Okay, I kind of like it too.
Okay, but you know
What
one thing
you-
I could not tolerate back home? It was the freaking bathrooms.
Oh,
my
no,
God,
Literally,
the squat,
bro, I
the
have a
squat
weird like
toilet.
bathroom phobia. Like even here, like if it's those bathrooms that like if they're like not clean enough or if they have those like button locks, I cannot use them here too. So when I went back home, each time I had to use the bathroom and we were out, I would not use any of the public bathrooms. So my family would have to take me back home and then I would use the bathroom and then we would go back.
Girl.
Guys, those squat toilets are like
No, let me tell you, there's so Alper, earlier you asked me where I went in Veten. My mom actually, I'm very grateful for this, but she actually like took me on a huge car like road trip around all of Veten, right? So I've
Period.
been
okay.
to like almost all, like not almost all, but most of like the major cities. And so she also took me to back to like the Yizala, like the far
I know where
like
this is
rural,
going.
rural areas where like my distant family lives. And I have this like one traumatizing experience with a bathroom. Like I was in middle school at the time, and they took us to like this like Yiziluk area, like this rural area. I don't
Oh,
remember
this
where it
sort of
was,
sounds bad.
but their bathroom was like a shed connected to where they kept the sheep. So I walked into so I walked into the bathroom and there was like sheep, like there was sheep next to me, and it was like separated by a fence.
Oh my gosh.
And I could like hear
love
them.
it.
And like it was just like a hole dug up in the ground, and it was so nasty. I couldn't even go to the bathroom. I was so shocked. It was like such a culture shock for me. I was like, what the heck? Like the sheep were literally like, what's the word for like sheep noises?
Is that it? What was such a
Guys,
Okay, they were like
Bah.
making their noises, and it stank, and like the hole was right next to the sheep. I was so shocked, and like it was so bad.
Did you make co-op out of the sheep later though?
Yeah, my middle school self. I made.
Oh no, not you.
You're like family. Wait, do you guys like koyugush? A lot of kids
I like
here don't like koyugush.
I love Quidditch.
Me too, but so many of my friends here don't like koyugush.
I think it's because of the strong,
Brainwashed.
strong taste and smell of it.
There's
Maybe,
also a
but-
lot of mai in Koigushi.
But I loved like the mind, the
Do you
color.
guys like Upke?
Yes,
I love
Yeah.
it.
so
Yeah.
much.
Only
What
Muzart
about
But a lot of
Jigab?
people don't like it either.
Muzart
like
doesn't
that.
like it. Muzart doesn't
Okay.
What
like
about
Guys.
Jigab? Do you like Jigab?
Very interesting.
it. Jiga's okay.
I don't like Jiga and Burek
Yeah, I
that
don't like
much.
it. I
But
like
my family
Jurek.
forces it. They're like Jiga was payda
Bro,
kulus.
I don't know why, but Jjigae is like so like they put so much seasoning on it that it actually tastes pretty good sometimes.
Oh, I don't
Well,
like
No,
it.
yeah, I
it's
guess it
it's
depends.
the aftertaste that gets me.
The aftertaste gets me too. The first initial taste isn't that good, but
I was like, it's okay. It tastes like co-op, right? And then you taste it after.
yeah.
I don't like
Burek?
Jiga that much.
I
think
don't really
it's the
like polo
texture.
that much.
I like
anymore.
The
Jurek.
texture? What do you mean?
I
It's
like
not that
eating
weird.
Jurek.
Hard eater.
Yeah, I'm a hard
Hey
eater.
guys, you know
Okay, so yesterday we posted on our Instagram asking you guys to submit questions to so we could ask our special guests what you guys wanted to know. And we picked a few questions from all the questions that we got and that were submitted. And so we will start off with a few of the interesting ones. So somebody submitted a question. Let's keep it anonymous. I won't name names. But they wanted us to discuss the gossip culture in our community.
I think that gossip is really common in the Uyghur community. And people say that it's mainly the Apashla and girls, but men be doing it too. That's all I'm gonna say. It's very common. What about you guys? What do you think?
I also agree gossip is very common. But I feel like gossip is just always common though. That's the thing. Because like
That is true. I
I
feel
feel
like it's
it's
not
more
just
common, or people think it's more common in Uyghur community because we hear of gossip from different places. Like, because that's the thing, we have friends in different states because we're Uyghur and like we've met up with each other. Gossip travels what you feel like, not just in your circle and like your community, but like other communities. And that's because you technically are a part of other communities. You just don't really realize that. So like when you're friends with someone in a different community and like gossip happens or whatever, it just spreads because you have friends there. Like that's just normal. And it feels to you like it's more like widespread because it's like, oh, people in like DC are talking about it. Like, okay, yeah, because you're friends in DC, like it's normal.
I also feel like
Huh?
anyways.
Oh,
What happened?
Hold
oh,
on,
plus
turn
computer
that
is
off.
about to explode.
Wait, what?
I don't know what that noise is.
What is that?
Oh, is the fan picking up?
Yes.
I thought you guys couldn't hear it. Bro.
Yeah, we just started hearing it. It was so loud.
Alper, can you get better lighting? I can see half of your face.
Hold on. Is that better?
Yes, a little bit.
Do you guys still hear my computer fan?
No, it's good. Anyways, continuing. Also, I feel like, yes, gossip is a thing in every culture or among everyone. But at the same time, I feel like the reason why we always go like, oh, Uyghurs gossip so much is because Uyghurs literally talk about everything about a person. Like, for example, from what I've experienced, the differences between what I heard when I was in school versus what I hear in the Uyghur community is like, in school, I feel like if people talk about others, it's like pretty big things that would be discussed. But in the Uyghur community, they'll literally talk about everything they can about a person. Like, oh, this is their job. This is like different details about their family. Just like really, like it varies. Like they can talk about literally anything. So that's what I feel like is one big difference in terms of the gossip culture in the Uyghur community versus any other community from what I've experienced so far.
I think gossip hurts Uyghurs because if you're in Uyghur, right, and you mess up, right, let's say you messed up, like everyone will know, right? One in California will know. California will tell their friends in DC. The DC friends will tell their friends in Canada. Canada friends will tell their friends. You know what I mean? Like it connects and it creates predetermined prejudices about a person. And I think that's what is really harming like a lot of people.
Okay, Zala, do you want to read us another question?
Okay, I'll read you guys the next question. What do you think the future of our millet will be like? Millet as in ethnicity and like the Uyghurs.
Damn. That is a very big question.
That's a very good question.
This is honestly something that I don't know, I feel like it's something that we all fear about in terms of our generation and the future generations to come. We discussed this in the previous episode as well, but it's just the fact that so many Uyghurs are marrying non-Uyghurs now. And the fact that like even people in our generation are just not connected with their culture or the language or even speaking up for what's going on back home. It's just such a big problem. And I just feel like that just it scares me, to be honest. Like when we're older, when we have kids, like what will happen to the future generations? And back home, like the kids there are being brainwashed into Chinese culture, assimilating into Chinese culture. And even here, to be honest, like the people who grew up in Vietnam the majority of their lives, from what I've seen, like they're still assimilating into the Chinese culture here. And it's just scary, to be honest. It really is
Yeah.
scary. So
Have you guys heard the thing where it's like the language from like a first generation immigrant is lost like after 3 generations, right?
Oh, I mentioned that in the last podcast.
Oh yeah, you did mention that in the last podcast. Like that's so like
That's where Alper heard it.
because like think about it. Muzart. Bizning işimiz the ballarda, right? Like
Mhm.
realistically, how many of them can speak Uyghur? Like
Yeah.
not even us, right? We can't like 100% like vet then speak Uyghur.
No, I feel like there's not many kids that can fluently speak, read, and write Uyghur like anyone did back then. But that's
Yeah.
just because kids here aren't able to use Uyghur. Think about it. Back home when you were talking with friends, Uyghur was the language that you spoke with your friends.
Yeah.
And the others, like the language that you're taught at school was like Chinese, if you went to a Chinese school. But a lot of Uyghurs went to Uyghur schools as well. So they would literally just speak Uyghur. But the most important thing is practice. Like at the end of the day, practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
The more you speak Uyghur, the better you're going to get at it. The more you read Uyghur, the better you're going to get at it. The more you write Uyghur, the better you're going to get at it. Parents need to teach Uyghur and like preserve culture to like all to their kids as much as possible because it's really important. Because once a parent does that, then the kids can just practice with each other.
I
And
agree
like
with
eventually
Musa.
with enough practice, you're gonna get better at it. So,
I agree with Musa. I think parenting is super crucial in order to like maintaining both language and culture in kids. Like I remember for me when I was little, my mom would not like she would pretend to not listen to what I was saying if like one English word came out of my mouth.
That's
She would completely ignore me. And
Same.
like I know that some people might be like, "Oh my gosh, that's so strict," but I'm so thankful that she did that because now I can speak fluently and I can teach it to my kids and I will definitely continue the way she taught me to my kids as well.
I think it's also has to do with like lack of accessibility though. Like if we're talking about like Vetten, like it wasn't just our parents that we had. Like children
Mhm.
growing up in Vetten, like you said, Muzat, they had their friends, they had their other family members. They were immersed in Uyghur culture because it was Vetten. I think here, because of like the physical and cultural genocide going on, we have that disconnect where we don't have access to like other family members. Like yes, we have our parents, but you know, we are all being slowly assimilated into American culture. So like even in our day-to-day talk, like we will have like American things that come up, right? Or like English things that come up. And so I feel like
Mhm.
because we only have our parents here for most of us, like we just have this like lack of resources that we can use to kind of practice our language and kind of immerse ourselves in culture. And I think that's like an issue that a lot of youth face.
I've also noticed something like Uyghurs like in the West, like Uyghur like way worse than like Uyghurs in like Turkey or like Uyghurs in like Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan. You know what I mean?
And I also feel like people like Uyghurs, I don't know how it is in other places, but I think in this community, like some Uyghurs don't take like teaching it to their kids as seriously as they should, I think. Or like
I
just teaching it and learning it in general. Like for example, like we have a pretty well established Uyghur school here, like an Uyghur mektep, and like it goes on every Sunday. They have like a school curriculum. Nubene and I have both like volunteered as teachers there. Like it's a pretty like established organization. It's an established school. We're very grateful to have it in the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. But I think a lot, like for a while, a lot of the people who sent their kids there weren't taking it as seriously. Like a lot of kids were going there just to play or meet up with their friends. And I heard like parents say that, you know, we're seeing this as an opportunity for our kids to meet their other Uyghur friends. If you're going into the school with that mindset, like this is only a place for my children to meet up and play, then they're not really going to be in there to learn.
I need to go now. We have Miman tonight, and you guys know how it be with Uyghur families and Mimans. So it was nice talking to all of you, and I'll see everyone during the next episode. Bye.
I think a problem that we have, that I've seen a lot in the Uyghur school here in the age group of like middle school to high school, is that like people aren't really going in there seriously. Like their only reason for going to that school is to meet up with friends. This is not the problem with the Uyghur school itself, but it's like with the kids that go there. They're very unappreciative. I will not name names, but
they know who they are. They know
Starts
who they
naming
are.
starts naming names.
They know who they are. There's been situations where kids have literally like damaged the property of the school. They broke the window of the school. They shattered it. They shattered the front door, the glass door. They punched holes in the walls multiple times.
Bro, what the heck?
These kids don't do this at their normal school. It's just when they come to this Uyghur school and get together with one another that this new side of them comes out. And it's because they're taking for granted of this space, and they're not understanding that we worked so hard to get to this level of having the center for them and having this school for them. They don't understand the effort that was put into that. And it makes me so upset. Like I witnessed one of the kids like punching a hole in the wall, and I got so mad. I was so mad. I was like, I'm telling your dad, I'm telling my dad, I'm telling the school. And like,
I think it's just a gap in maturity.
Zala snitched on him.
I snitched because I was so mad. I was like, I don't care. I'm not gonna put like 100% blame on the parents, because I'm not a parent, so like I don't have the experience or authority to be like this and this and this. But I'm telling you, these kids, like most of these kids are like late middle school or like into high school already, like freshmen, sophomores.
I was too scared of my parents to do that. Okay. Like if I knew damn well, you know what I mean, that I'm gonna get the tayak later. You know what I mean?
The laptop incident.
At a certain level, there needs to be some discipline on these kids.
No,
Wait, what's the laptop incident?
You know what? That laptop incident, I knew never to do stuff like that.
Wait, what is the laptop incident?
Elementary school. If these kids are not like slightly fearful of like their parents, you know what I mean? They're just gonna be doing like that. The dads especially need to punish them.
Okay. It's getting a little violent, alper.
Oh, okay. Not like in that way. But
alper wants every single Uyghur parent to smack their kids with a belt.
Wait, what is the laptop
with the belt?
Incident is, I'll water it down. Okay, is that I broke a laptop when I was in elementary school when I got mad over Minecraft.
I think you got whipped, right?
Wait, you got mad over what?
We can't say that. We can't say that on the podcast, can we?
No, we're cutting it out.
Anyway, I got disciplined because
it out, Zola. Actually, cut it out.
Okay.
Yeah, he got disciplined. But you broke the laptop over what?
I don't consent with my
Minecraft.
Okay, so the laptop incident is that alper broke a laptop because he was
raging on Minecraft because he lost a battle. And he took
I was in like fourth. I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade when this went down.
Homie was in 6th grade.
You don't think I'll remember my own memory? It was like 3rd or 4th grade when this went down. When I went to Turkey a couple summers ago, I met this Uyghur kid, and his parents, grew up in Veta and moved to Turkey, but they didn't bother to teach their kid Uygurcha because they thought their kid would just naturally learn Uygurcha because they live in Turkey, and they thought that Turkish and Uygurcha was like the same thing, so they didn't bother to teach their kid Uygurcha. But when I went like that time and I met that kid, he could not speak, like he could understand Uygurcha really well, but he couldn't, like most Turks can, but he can't speak like Uygurcha. You know what I mean? He was like, or else he was fully immersed in the culture and everything. But like language is such a fundamental part of our culture.
Yeah, I was getting bored of your
No.
But it's like so like language is just so like important, the language is something like that's probably the toughest.
Muzart's getting bored. He's like, it's done. Move on. No, I agree. I definitely agree. I think I think it's something really important. I feel like it's something that we're losing because we're not putting in as much effort to learn it. Because, like you said, it's not something that just naturally appears. Like, there has to be some sort of like effort put in to learn a language. And I think that goes for any language, but because like we're getting assimilated so quickly to like the places we're living in, I think it really applies to us. You're right. Wait, but it's like time to be real. Can we be real?
Oh my.
Yeah.
Be real later. This is important.
Let's get through these questions. Let's get through these questions.
Okay. Describe a time of when you visited back home and anything interesting about your home. I think we kind of covered this.
It was really different there. You know how in America you have to like make real big plans to go hang out with your friends. Like you have to plan everything. You have to do things, drive somewhere. Like you have to find something fun to do. In
All the
Wetland,
rules
you
live
could
so
just go
far from
outside.
us, dude.
You could just go outside with like your cousin or your friend, and you could just do whatever. Like it was so fun to hang out back then. You didn't have to plan things that much. You just knock on a door or just like say, oh, or just see them
No
outside.
curfew
Say, "Yo,
either.
hang out."
No
I don't know
curfew.
about no curfew, but
Yeah, I don't know about that.
What? We did not have a curfew. At least where I was, we didn't.
I feel
Where
like
did
it's a
you
common
go?
thing that all Uyghur parents worry about their kids no matter what.
No, Alper's
Like-
parents don't care about him. They said go out. They said leave.
No,
I think that's
my
Elber's
parents wanted me to frolic, dude. Like they wanted me.
because like Elber was too inside too much playing on his computer, breaking his computer and playing Minecraft. Yeah.
They did not care, especially since I was with my cousins. Like they were like they trusted my cousins. You know what I mean?
Not you.
But they
But
were
not
like
you,
kind of
though.
just like.
Not after the laptop incident.
Musa, have you been to Kashgar before?
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay, what do you think is the culture between
Did he ask
Uyghur
you?
and guys? What is the cultural difference between Uyghur and different regions? Like, do you feel like Urumchidiks are
There's
different?
stereotypes for every single place.
Yeah.
Like, what's some stereotypes you've heard about, like, of like other of like regions? Because I've heard a lot.
Okay, what have you heard?
I've heard Luljiks are just not very serious. I just heard they're not, not very serious people.
What?
You know what I mean?
I actually haven't heard that many stereotypes, so
I've heard that kind of. Anyways, what other stereotypes have you heard?
I've heard the Luljiks are very serious. I've heard like Urumchidiks are not like I've heard people from Urumchi are like generally less religious and generally like more modernized and especially
Oh, I've
Urumchi.
heard that they're more modernized.
Yeah, I've heard that they're more modernized. Like people from Urumchi, like they're like coming to the times. You know what I mean? A lot easier.
It's because it's like an urbanized city, I think.
Yeah. Well,
It's like one of the
Kashgar is
biggest
an urbanized. Well, Kashgar is an urbanized city too.
cities. Parts of
But
Kashgar.
not as much.
Parts of
But people from I'm not trying to like hype up Kashgar here, but like Kashgar is like very like like there's still more like
very traditional. Yes, that is something
traditionally
that,
kept.
that is like something I've heard about Kashgar. It's very traditional because it was like the old capital, wasn't it, or like the old hub
Yeah.
of like
Yeah, exactly. So like, do you guys think the way Khotanluk people talk is funny?
But then the people like talk
No,
what
Khotan,
English?
Khotanluk people.
Oh,
People
Khotan.
from Khotan.
How do they
I don't-
talk?
Like they don't say re, they just say re.
Yeah, their R's are different, I think.
Their R's are different. I don't know.
I don't know. I
Khotanluk
don't think
people have
it's-
like a certain accent. You can just tell.
What's your deal with Khotan people?
I have nothing wrong against Khotan. Khotanluk people are so nice. They're so nice. I think top 3 Uyghur cities.
Top 3, he hasn't ranked. He hadn't thought of it.
I think it's
He hadn't
Kashgar,
planned.
right?
He said
I
1, 2,
personally think
3.
Kashgar is on top, right?
Mhm.
Instead, I would say Aksu probably, And I think Shinji, this is a tough one, but I'm gonna give it to Urumqi just cause like all my family live in Urumqi. Most of my family live in Urumqi. I think Aksu's third. I think it's Kashgar, Urumqi, then Aksu. And then maybe Khotan and like Turpan. And then like Gombe. But no one like I don't know
Why you
anyone.
have it like so clearly ranked? Like you thought about this. Like bro, before he goes to sleep,
I-
he, like ranks all.
I have definitely thought about like the best Uyghur city. I'm not gonna
This
lie.
keeps them up at night. The year-long debate.
Okay,
Yeah, I just debate with myself.
before we run out of time, that's a wrap. Thank you for watching our second episode of Chit and Chai with Muzart, Alper, and for most of it, Nurperi. We hope that you guys join us in our next episode, which is coming soon. But that's it. Bye.
Push.
Allah'a emanet, selamet olsun, özel asral.